I was challenged to play with at least 16 puppies in my deck and win a set champ. Win the set champ. Not top 8, not top 4, not even second, but first. And I had no hope of doing this. I thought 16 puppies, that's enough puppies to tank my deck completely. Like, I would just. It would be tanked. I would lose because I had 16 puppies in my deck. This meant 16 cards with the puppy tag, so Thunderbolt over here does not count, even though he should have the puppy tag. I don't know why he doesn't, because it's to balance with Pongo, but like that would just be a cool combo. Anyways, so my 16 puppies were 4 Patch, 8 of the Dalmatian puppy, and 4 Pepper. I played Pepper once, just for reference. This card's it's in the deck, but it's not needed. But anyways, I just went for an aggro strategy. You know me. I think that's the only thing Amber Sapphire can do well. I didn't want to go hyper aggro because I felt like that was just a guaranteed loss. So I went with a bit more of like a mid grow where I have some high end cap at 5. I go to like 4 and 5, but enough for me to like keep going and be able to take on other aggro decks, which paid off because my round 1 was aggro. Anyways, this deck's not cheap because it has Rapunzel. A lot of it, a lot of it's not rotated actually, so this is like a pretty safe deck for post rotation. What we lose? What do we lose? Anything? Anna? We lose Anna, Rapunzel, and Popsicle. So most of this deck is not being rotated. So if you're looking into playing Amber Sapphire, this might be a good way to go. But anyways, let's talk about the deck real quick. And there's 18 uninkables. So the general goal is to play Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is like the whole deck, and if I said I would have won any of these games without him, I'd be lying because I won all of the games because of Thunderbolt. You can play patch on 1 and just let him sit there until you can shift for 3, or like you can guard your patches with Thunderbolt. Whatever it is, whatever you need to play Thunderbolt, patch is always there to like instantly shift. Especially turn 4 when you just play patch, pay 3, instantly put in bodyguard. It's always an option. Patch is your setup for that. Otherwise, you go wide in most matchups, especially like Steel Song or other aggro decks. You just spread out the board with the characters. Um, all most of the high end is inkable except Scrooge, so it's like for the most part you just ink the big stuff, play the little things. It's not super hard. I would say that like it depends on what characters you play. Definitely like if you have Patch, you want to make sure you have a puppy because he's kind of useless without it. He just sits there, but you don't want to just sit there. You'd rather play any of these before you play Patch without a puppy. Um, so let's go play lines. They're pretty simple. You can just play the curve. It's not ideal. You really want to go 1 drop and then double 1 drop on 2, but you can always play Anna if you have to, as long as you have a hero next, which is why I'm playing both Alice and Moana, so that Anna never really misses, because there's not a lot of heroes in the deck, but like it's on curve heroes, and these are also heroes. So once you get to the high end, you find the heroes, but the early game you really just have Belle or another Anna if you can double up. But yeah, Anna's not necessarily the best move. You can set up for Rapunzel, but like so does the whole deck. Um, anyways, yeah, we're just playing the curve. So like Moana's really good. Can challenge into steal stuff really well and then get that Rapunzel value. Alice is great when they're playing like a control deck and they can't actually do anything to Alice because she's warded, and then she can either ward the next character you play or get that extra lore off. Really good against discard decks. Um, Scrooge is just amazing. Not a lot of decks can handle a 5/5, especially if they've already used like Zeus and stuff on a Moana or a Belle or an Anna, like to protect their things, and they're not ready for the Scrooge. Kind of the same reason I used in the Maximum Lore deck. Just like it's big and they have to deal with it, or else you just trade their board like super easily. So the early bodyguard method, like I mentioned before, so we can go like 1 and then double 1 on 2. So we have 3 characters, and then we can shift Thunderbolt, and then we like, if we're protecting a Daisy and a Nala, that's 5 lore per turn, and it's a 3/7 bodyguard they have to go through. And Thunderbolt is amazing at setting up Rapunzel. It's almost impossible to refuse if they do anything with any of their characters, unless they can take out Thunderbolt, which most of the time, if they're taking out Thunderbolt, they have to expend multiple cards in their hand or like trade a bunch of characters in, and it's almost always worth it. I think the worst scenario is if they Fox Crab. Like, it can happen, but you're also, if that happens, you're probably in a good state anyway, because they'd have already played Crab, then played Fox, and so they have whatever they played on 1 and 2 into all this, so you're probably fine. There's not really a lot of moments where Thunderbolt isn't safe. Like, even if he dies, it's like safe for the rest of your board. There's not a lot of times where they can fully clear you once you shift. So you pretty much just do it the moment you can. Plus, you do quest for 2, and if you can set up the Rapunzel bomb, then that's great. Let's go into matchups real quick. Most of the time, you're just going fast and going wide in like every matchup, but there's some cards you want to look out for. Thunderbolt is specifically good against aggro because you want those 3 strength characters. You pretty much just play whatever's the highest strength. That's why the puppy's here. It's just not a 1 strength character. 2 is more important. If you can play like 2 of these, or you can shift, and like it just helps the trades. Amber Steel, we really want Thunderbolt here because they have to like Zeus and trade stuff, and it's not good for them. We want Belle to challenge their Cinderella, Rapunzel to like keep the game going, um, and Daisy is just so hard to kill. It's so hard to kill, and good at challenging too. Um, Red Blue, you just go fast, but you want to make sure you hold on to like Darling Deer and Scrooge because Scrooge is just really hard to remove for Red Blue, and Darling Deer is really good at like reaching the end game before they beat prep or before they can like reestablish the board, fully control you. Darling Deer can squeak you out of the game real quick, but it's also a big body. So if you have like 2 of these, you play 1, gain the extra 2. They don't kill the Darling Deer, you can play another Darling Deer, because it's like it's not easy to remove a Darling Deer. So it's a very good card to hold on to. Emerald Steel, same things like Ward is super important, and then just like Reach. If you can draw cards, you'll probably win the matchup, and then if you just go wide in like every matchup. But like these cards just are like helpful, specifically against discard stuff. It's it's hard to get to 5 sometimes in discard, so you might just want to end up inking this. But if you can get to 5, this is really good, especially if they like have bounce stuff and they end up bouncing her. Then you can just use her ability again, which is nice. Ruby Amethyst is very similar to Red Blue, but we really want to focus on Alice here because they don't have Sisu typically. So Alice can pretty much guarantee at least like 4 or 5 lore. And Thunderbolt's really good because unless they have Fox Crab, there's not really a lot of ways for them to take out a Thunderbolt. They might be playing Medusa, but it's going to take them a minute. It's on turn 6. So if you shift on 3, like you get a good few turns of Thunderbolt. That deck's not hard to play, I would say. Like it's probably one of the most boring decks I've played, but it's like it's fun because it's different. It's like Puppies, right? But it's not like a high skill deck. It's just about what you mulligan and what you play. A lot of the mulligans are like my final game was all seven mulligan. Like that was crazy. I, yeah. So the altars here we got like get rid of all the big uninkables instantly. There's 18 in the deck, so you can't like you just have to get rid of them. I wouldn't keep Darling Deers or like any of the big stuff. You want to keep the shift line. You want to keep triple Daisy or like whatever triple 1-drops you have. And then Bell Pop is like almost always good because it replaces itself, right? So you're just like rather play a 3/3 than an Ala almost always. So yeah, it's kind of hard like not to mulligan correct if you follow these. Just keep the 1-drops, get rid of the big stuff, and try and hold inkables. I think that's the hardest part is making sure you have enough inkables to not completely break your hand. Um, that's all I really want to talk about because this deck is just really simple. I don't have a lot to say about it, so it's going to be a shorter video. I do plan on making another video about cards I want to see reprinted. Don't know if that's going to happen before we actually see what's reprinted, but hopefully it will. And I also wanted to mention that I do have merch now. Some people requested it, and I was like, let's just go for it. Mine hasn't arrived yet, so my next video I'll show it off, but I have gotten merch from TeePublic before, and they're pretty high quality. So if you wanted to support me or spread the anyone can cook message, let's go for it. I don't really make money off of it, so it's more just like a fun thing. But if you want to rep Illuminator Fortune, Team Fortune, maybe I'll make a team. Maybe you can. I'll have the link below. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to see more like this, like and subscribe. I definitely want to make more interesting decks next time. And I know I won with it, but it's just kind of lame. I loved playing it, but I don't think I'd ever play it again. It's because the patch is so fun, but like it was also the puppies playing with all the default puppies is like not great. I think if I didn't have that challenge, I could have made a more interesting, fun deck. And it just wasn't like a. I was kind of stuck, right? I was stuck to the puppy, so I could only add so many things. Darling Deer, though, I had never played with before, and I very much loved. So I'm so excited to see this card staying in the game. Hopefully, after rotation, we're gonna see a lot of these. There's a ton of fun post-rotation cards that I'm so excited to play with. But yeah, that's all I want to talk about today, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.